All right, box modeling, this is prepping. First, select the front image. Now select the side image. And now we can see we have both images loaded in the background. And we're going to use those as the reference. So select triangle, extrude, and now click the move to actually move to extrude the triangle. And we use the restriction because this allows you to keep everything in sync so you don't break the image. So right now we just want to work on the y-axis. Yeah, select the triangle, select the triangles, and gonna extrude. Well, extrude, but we're gonna change the axis as well because right now we're in Y, but we need X. All right, I'll show you what happens if you select the triangle without pressing extrude. This will allow you to move the triangles and it's going to be connected to the other triangles. But if you want a separate face, you have to extrude. So select triangle, extrude, and then move by dragging your finger across the object. And so far this looks good. So I'm gonna work now on the torso. And I like to have basically 3 segment wide and 4 segment tall. So we're gonna extrude, stop, extrude again until we have 4 segments going down and 3 to the side, 3 wide. And you can use the hand icon to actually move the object. I'm just going to line it up in the side. And for the side, I would like to have about, let's have about 5 segments on the side. So I'm just going to select all of the front face triangles. All right. And then extrude and just using, well, you got to keep in mind of your axis. Since we're in the side, we're going to use the Z axis. So it's just moving the Z axis. And like I said, we want to keep the restrictions so you don't break the image or you don't break the box itself. We'll do detailing afterwards. And sometimes you have to zoom in or zoom out to get a better look at what you're trying to select. And it's the same process. You want to extrude. You need those segments in between. This is going to come in handy when you're actually doing the detailing. And you can see here I did 5 segments on the side. So we have 3 by 4 by 5. And the little extrude on top for the neck. So far looks good. Now we're going to work in the head. And it's going to be the same process. So we're going to select the triangle, extrude, and move. And because we're working on the neck, we want to stay in the y-axis. And as you can see, I actually selected a different option, the scale option, because this time I actually want the triangles to match the head. And so I'm going to make it wider because I was using the neck. So this is how you scale the triangles. Now when I move it up, I didn't extrude it, so it was bringing up the square. So let's extrude to get an extra section in. And that first section is what I'm going to use for the mouth, for the beak. And gonna extrude again. Now it's looking like the head. The head is a square shape, so easy to match. Like I said, we have to zoom in and zoom out sometimes to get a better look of the object. I'm gonna select the mouth and extrude. So you got to keep in mind of which axis you're working. I see I have X and Y, and that's the reason why I can't move it. So I have to select the Z axis to move it forward. And you can tell which axis you're working on in the upper right. You can see the gizmo. Green is the y-axis, blue is the z-axis, and the red is the x-axis. And now we're gonna undo the beak because now I actually want to bring out the head so it matches the side image. And keep in mind of your axis. So bring it out by with a Z. All right, now we're going to extrude the beak. It's on the same Z axis, so I don't have to make any changes. But I didn't uncheck my triangle. It started selecting more. I have to undo it and try again. So I'm gonna redo this. Select the face again. Move. I want to uncheck that y-axis so it's just a straight drag. All right. Second attempt to get that beak out. And gonna try to follow the reference image. And see that it goes down a little. And I'm gonna extrude at the bottom so I can bring it up. All right. Right now this looks good. And all right, this is box modeling and detailing. We're going to be using the vertices to actually detail the box. So this is vertices, select the box selection, and you basically drag and create a box over the vertices you want. Click the move button, and then you can start moving the vertices in the direction that you restricted or you've selected. And the pop-up tells you how many vertices you're actually selecting. I'm just bringing it down to match the torso. This duck have a pretty long neck, so we're gonna have to move the neck, well, move the shoulders down. All right. Now I just wanna bring out the sides because, you know, this duck is pretty wide. I gotta keep in mind of your axis. You gotta check the x-axis if you're working in the x-axis. Drag to the side. All right. Now we're gonna work on the shoulders. And keep in mind, I'm using the ortho prospect view. Yeah, if every time you detailing, you want to be working with the vertice. All right, pretty much by looking at this, you're just outlining what you need to do or what you need to work on. All right, and use the box triangle to bring down the middle of the back. Working with vertices, you can easily break the image, so keep in mind how far you bring down the vertices and keep in mind with the relative vertices or the neighbor vertices. All right, looks like I'm gonna need the x-axis to work in this. Sometimes the vertices are not in the same axis that you may see in on the gizmo. So sometimes it's just best to select all vertices or just play around with which vertex you're actually working with. But selecting all axes will not hurt you, especially when detailing. All right, just need to bring down the center of the back next to the tail. And the reason you want to use the box selection is there's a lot of vertices in this, and if you try to select one by one, or you're not going to select all of them. The same as if you're trying to select different lines, you're not going to select all. So you want to use a box to get all what you need. All right, looks good. Okay. Fix the neck a little bit. Like I said, sometimes you got to zoom in. Yeah, bye. And keep in mind when you're moving vertices, you want to drag your finger across the object where the vertex is actually located. And you have to uncheck the box selection in order to rotate the screen. When you select the box, it just locks the screen to where it's at. So you need to rotate on select the box. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm working the neck, working the head. And this is why we need the side images. This is how you match the beak or match whatever side image you're working on. Right. The beak is a little bit smaller than the head, so what I'm going to do is actually select the vertices one on each side, and you got to select the plus sign to select extra vertices. And I selected the scale tool so I can bring it in. All right, so the side looks good and the front image looks good. All right, the feet look like it's out too far. I need to bring the feet end back, so I'm gonna clear it and select the feet in the back. Yeah, this looks like a better place. See if it matches this side. And it looks like where the feet is on the side, so I'm gonna extrude from here. And since we're working the z-axis, the y-axis, I'm sorry, I can bring down the legs. And I will want to extrude again so I can have the feet available. You might want a different segment for the actual feet first and the legs. So extrude and bring out the feet. All right, now we want to make the legs skinny, just as a reference. So let's just select the legs. There's an option where you can use a box selection on the triangles, but it really depends on the image that you have set up. Sometimes you might end up selecting the wrong sections. But this is how it looks. Depending on what you're modeling, this might be a good option for you. But right now, this is not the best option for me to use, especially when trying to work in two separate legs. So I'll just select the triangles one by one. All right, that looks good. And I'm going to use the scale tool to bring it in. And once you select one axis of the scale tool, just drag it across. That's how you decrease or increase the size. You'll know once you select it, it's yellow. So, let's bring it right across. And now let's see if it matches the side. All right, so let's use the blue axis to bring that in. And we're going to do the same for the other leg. Select the scale tool and do the same thing. It's a little bit too skinny, so I'm going to bring it out. Now I'm going to select the feet and bring them out to match the side view. Got to use the extrude tool so it's not interfering with the feet, with the base. We'll definitely need the Z axis because as you can see the blue. looks good. And now we want to see how it looks. So in order to see how the object look, you have to unfreeze it. And to do that, you have to go through the menu and select unfreeze. And now we have a, a look of how the image really is, how the object is. And this is what it would look like once you export it as a wave OBJ. And you can print this in a 3D printer. And now we apply the smoothing. And this is how it looks. Well, I'm gonna take off the wireframe. Just keep in mind, the more vertices, the smoother the image become. So right now, this is only using 3,600 vertices, but if you increase the vertices and then you apply the smooth, it will be smoother.